The United States government is giving away money to businesses, and you can make money giving away money. We're going to have all the details right after this. Welcome, everybody. This is the Entrepreneur's Journey. I'm your host, Scott Patton. I'm president of free-ebooks.net, who is responsible for this show. So if you love reading, we let you have 5 free ebooks a month for free. Just sign up, and then we've got categories like anything that you could possibly imagine that's legal. Nothing, everything's above board. So we're starting this aimed at business leaders, aimed at entrepreneurs. If you have something that you're curious about, put it into the comments and we'll deal with it in another show, another episode. We're also going to be having an after party. So you're going to want to stay till the end. We open it up. You can ask any questions you want and we will deal with it. I'm the host and my co-host is Dave Espino, and we're going to be bringing him on right now. Hey, Dave, how are you doing?
Hey, Scott. Good to see you and good to be here.
Awesome. So I told everybody I'm president of free-ebooks.net. I've been doing internet marketing type stuff and podcasting for the last 20 years. Before that, I was a grocery store manager. So I have a kind of that customer service, retail outlook on things when it comes to internet marketing. But let's talk a little bit about you. What's your background? I know you did a whole bunch of stuff with infomercials and eBay, but tell us a little bit more of your background, Dave, before we get into today's
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to. And it's always a challenge to keep it short and sweet. So I'll do that. So I started when I was 7 years old. My parents started selling at flea markets and swap meets in Southern California. And that got me just into the entrepreneurial mode very early on. And I've had experience in different businesses since then. Pretty much been an entrepreneur my whole life. Had experience in the financial services business, investing in real estate, eBay and e-commerce, and then coming right up to current time, I've been doing quite a bit of online marketing over the last 23, 24 years. And so my background really comes from the direct response marketing world and marketing on the internet. And if anything, I'm known for 2 things. Number one, I had an infomercial back in the day from about 2000 to 2011, where we were selling my eBay course. That's when eBay was just going like crazy, right? And so we had an amazing time just selling my eBay course on TV for 11 years. It was one of the most successful business infomercials of its time. And since then, I've been pretty much now known as the course guy, because not only have I created 101 courses, but I also help and teach people how to create their courses and their coaching programs as well. And in that, I've worked with companies like ClickFunnels as a coach for them, companies like Mastermind, which is Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's company, and also on my own now. So it's been an amazing run, amazing ride. And wow, I was able to keep that pretty short. So I'm pretty excited.
Well done. Well done. And the one thing you didn't tell everybody that I think is the most interesting is you're a skateboarder. And my sons, when they were in that 8 to 10, 12-year-old range, they loved being on the skateboard park. And you just do some amazing things. And you have a super photographer. I look at some of the poses and I go, how did they get him to stand that way so it looks like he's actually going along the rim? But
Thank you. Yeah, I've been a skateboarder most of my life since I was 12, and now I'm 59. So I've been skateboarding longer than most of those kids at the skate parks' moms have been around. So yeah, I'm one of the old school skateboarders, and I still skate empty pools and skate parks, when I get a chance to get out. So it's just my fun thing I've always done. So I love it.
Cool. Oh, that's amazing. All right. So we have a quote of the week. And today's quote is from Napoleon Hill. Adversity. Because I was going to say add something else. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache comes with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. And if we haven't had adversity in the last 3 years, I don't know when we've ever had it, aside from like major wars.
Right.
And I really wanted to talk about this or bring this quote up because it has a lot to do with our main topic, which of course is what is the U.S. government doing, giving away a lot of money to businesses? And of course, how can we take advantage of that? So Dave, let's talk a little bit about what the U.S. government is up to.
Sure. Well, when COVID hit, the government decided, hey, we need to help small businesses. And so what they did was they initiated two programs as part of the CARES Act. The first program that almost everybody knows about is the PPP loans that were given out to small businesses, right? When they first initiated these two programs, you could only choose one or the other, and most people chose the PPP loan. You could not also choose, back then, you could not also choose the ERC, which is the Employee Retention Credit. But here's the big but. A year later, they changed it so that you could be involved in both of them. So if you had taken the PPP loan, a year later, they said, oh, we're also going to let you, because of the severity of the pandemic and everything, we're also going to allow you to take advantage and be a part of the ERC tax credit. And so right now, there's a lot of business owners out there that don't realize that even if you took the PPP, you still could benefit from the ERC. And the ERC pays up to $26,000 per W-2 employee that you had during that time. So there's a lot of misinformation. In fact, even accountants, CPAs don't know how to process these, and maybe sometimes don't even know that their client, qualifies for this credit. And so combine that with the fact that there's lots of advertising around about ERC, and then potentially there's some scams out there as well. So business owners just kind of throw up their hands and go, well, I either don't qualify or my CPA says I shouldn't or whatever. Well, what we're going to share with you today is how you can just give somebody a link to a place where they can fill out some quick information and then get on a quick call to in 5 minutes find out if you do qualify or not. And then they'll be put in touch with experts that can process that refund right away. So it's really cutting out a lot of the red tape and the bureaucracy that exists in the ERC program. And all we do is basically spread the word and talk to business owners about this program. But what's amazing, Scott, is people are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars that they did not know was coming to them from the U.S. government. And a lot of people still don't know. There was 1.2 billion with a B set aside, and a lot of that's going to go unclaimed simply because we aren't getting the word out, fast enough. So
wow. And is this a program that's going to end anytime soon?
Yes, we literally have only about 8 months left, because what it requires is that you file an amended return to go back and grab some of that money that was paid out to your employees. And that's basically a big refund from the government. And so as these quarters, it goes by quarters, right? So as these quarters start to fall off the calendar, we're really only squeezing down to 8 months left to sign up for the program. So
2 quarters.
Yeah, there is a time frame. There is a limited time frame. And the way I put it, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a marketer, so I like to hype things up, right?
Right.
And so the way I put it is, there's this giant pool of money that the government's put in there, and they're saying, hey, dive in there and see how much of that you can give away, because for every whatever amount you give away, we're going to give you a big chunky commission on that. Now, It's not the government doing that, but it's this company that we're aligned with that is able to pay us a significant chunk of commission. And I'll tell you what, a few weeks ago, I got a $10,000 commission for deals that we had done before. And the week before that, I got a $4,400 commission for deals we had done a while ago. So there's lots of money to be made. It's a limited time frame, 8 months to go and just, I imagine like a running race, where they shoot the gun off and they're like, go, you got 8 months to go to as many business owners as possible about this opportunity.
And so it sounds like this is something that just about anybody can do. Do you have to be in the United States?
Oh, that's a good question. No, you don't have to be in the U.S. to tell U.S. business owners about this. Yes, it is a U.S. government program, and yes, it is for U.S. business owners. any business owner that had between 2 W-2 employees and 500 W-2 employees. So it can be a pretty big, sizable company.
Right.
That
could be a lot of money for those companies.
Huge amount of money. I mean, some of these companies get like $900,000 out of the blue, that they weren't expecting. And the business owner, by the way, doesn't have to use it for their business. They don't ever have to pay it back. They could literally just sock it away in their retirement plan if they wanted to,
Wow.
But back to your question, no, you could be an agent for this from anywhere in the world. Just know that you're wanting to reach out to U.S. businesses,
Right.
And that's how it works.
Well, and with the internet, I mean, the reason I asked that question is free-ebooks.net has a huge membership base, and I think 40, maybe 45% are North American, which means
good.
Usually, so 55% are outside of North America. And if you're one of those people, then you could take advantage of this as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you are a business owner, you can use the same link that we'll provide later and sign up for it yourself, and not only make the refund, but also make the commission as well. So
get it both ways.
Yep.
Right. So you have to have 2 W-2 employees. So
yeah, 2
minimum.
or more. Yeah, between 2 and 500. And you had to have had them during that period of time. Now, here's the thing about the program is I don't have to be an expert on this government program. You don't have to be an expert on the government program, because all I do is I give a link to a landing page. They fill out, literally they fill out their name, phone number, email, and how many employees they have. That's it. So the business owner fills that out. And then on the next page, they are able to book a call with our professionals, our agents. And then in that 5-minute call, then they find out, do you qualify or not, based on the questions that they ask you there. So it's super fast, super easy to find out, and super easy then to process.
It doesn't sound like a real government program if it's super easy and it's super fast.
Right. This part of it doesn't have red tape. Maybe the government part of it does. That one might take a while. It does. They have been flooded with refund requests.
Right.
So it does take a period of time to get that refund, but again, it's free money.
It's coming. Yeah. And if it only takes you 10 minutes to get all the information that they need, then that's time well spent.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's an amazing opportunity. We actually created an entire course that not only walks you through the best ways to reach out to business owners, because there's so many ways to do it. It also shows you the best niches, the best types of businesses that can benefit the most. And, this is basically, Scott, the more money you can give away of the government's money that you can give away, the more money you make, right? So why not go to those companies that are going to benefit the most, make the most, and you get the highest commission as well?
I was talking with a friend of mine earlier this week, actually, and they brought up Zig Ziglar.
Oh, yeah.
And one of his famous quotes is, if you'll have to help me with it now. Because
it's kind of my life quote, so I know it very well. Yeah. And he says, you'll get everything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want.
Right.
Yeah.
So you help enough U.S. businesses get extra money, which is why they're in business, from the government, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Some people have set themselves up for retirement by doing this because they just went all in, or they happen to have the right contacts.
Connections. Yeah.
This is perfect for a CPA who works with a lot of business owners. It's perfect for a fractional CFO, somebody who does the finances for a lot of businesses. Anybody really that has a lot of a circle of influence that is primarily business owners. And there's another kind of thing I want to share with you, Scott, about this program. The one that we particularly are sharing is that, for example, I can I can bring you on as one of my affiliates. So let's say when you, Scott, go out and find a business owner, and let's say they bring in a big chunk of money, you make a commission and I make a commission off of the same deal.
Okay.
And so it's a 2-tier affiliate program. And so there's also money to be made by finding those centers of influence that know a lot of business owners, and then just having them be an affiliate under you. And then you just make the commission on that. That's what some of our deals that I mentioned, the 10,000 and the 4,400, both of those were actually commissions for 2 deals. So the 4,400 was 2 deals, and the 10,400 was 2 deals. And a couple of those were that scenario where we recruited an affiliate, they went and did the deal, but we got paid for that.
Right. Well, that really opens up opportunities. What went through my head at the beginning when you said that was there could be a Facebook group, like a New York Facebook group for entrepreneurs, 30-something entrepreneurs or something, right? All these people that have their own businesses, they hire people, restaurants, that's New York restaurant group, right?
Yep.
And then you go in there, you talk to the, you don't want to spam, but you talk to the admin, like who usually it's set up by one person, and you say, listen, I've got this opportunity from the US government. Why don't you sign up? And then between the two of us, we can do live streams and posts and tell your group all about this opportunity for them. And if they're all restaurant owners, they all have W-2 employees, waiters, waitresses, and cooks and cleaners and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And you could get some money back.
That's a great idea. And so many Facebook groups too. So many Facebook groups, so many YouTube channels where people, their audience is entrepreneurs. There's even meetup. There's meetup groups locally. There's Chamber of Commerce. There's so many opportunities. You get that center of influence as your affiliate, and let them go do the work.
I think part of the reason why I think that way is I'm just lazy, and I'm going. If I could talk to 1,000 people, or I could talk to one person who knows 1,000 people or has, and they can just get the message out. And that seems to me, I'd rather have 1%. There's another quote, right? 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own.
Exactly.
I forget who said that, if it was Warren Buffett or anyway.
Yeah.
It's a famous quote, and I really believe it's important that you leverage yourself, right? Like
absolutely.
Find those opportunities, and then find people that can help you achieve those opportunities. Because again, you're helping other people get what they want.
Exactly. Another good niche is somebody who is in sales and who deals with businesses every day. Like they're in sales, B2B sales maybe, but they're dealing with business owners every single day. And they could just kind of mention this as an aside. It doesn't have to take up any of their time. Give them the link, because that's all your job is to share a link. That's it.
Right.
Like we don't actually even want you being an expert on the program. We just want you to send the traffic, send the people, and let the professionals deal with that.
Right.
Yeah, because
you just tell them the benefit. The government's going to give you money. What more do you need to say?
That's it. Because then we run the risk of saying something wrong or inaccurate or whatever. No, just share the link, and you're good.
And you're good. Awesome. So we're going to share the link, and it's going to be in the description or in the comments after we're done. And that reminds me that we did the quote, and now what I want to do is do the tip of the week. And our tip of the week is: opportunity often comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Well, the last 3 years has been a lot of misfortune and a lot of temporary defeat. And if you're a business that's been struggling and you have W-2 employees, you should pay attention to this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And since this is called the entrepreneur's journey, I mean, I could just probably rattle off a bunch of circumstances as an entrepreneur, lifelong entrepreneur, where I've had misfortune, I've had down times, I've had sad, difficult times. And, once you're an entrepreneur for a while, you realize this is just the downside of the roller coaster, and you will be coming back up soon. There's a certain hope and encouragement I want to give people out there that the entrepreneur life is not the steady life that some people crave. but it does come with so many rewards and so much enjoyment and freedom, that you have. So it really depends on the type of personality that you are. If you're the type of personality that values freedom, that values being your own boss, being in charge of your own destiny, no matter what may happen, right? Come what may, then you're set for the entrepreneur life. But I was talking to my wife one night, and she's like, I don't like the roller coaster. I don't like the ups and downs, right? Because, and I said, you know what? The other option is you're trucking along in a job, and one day they call you into the office, and you have no other option. Like, you have no way to back out of that or resolve it. You've got to find another job. They call you into the office. They got to let you go. So I personally would rather be in control of that destiny than.
That's a beautiful analogy. It's a beautiful story, right? Because it's kind of like, we may have our ups and downs, and I think everybody has ups and downs. It's just this image of, I don't know where I'm going to pay the rent this week. But whereas when you've got the steady job, I got the rent paid this week, no problem, until you don't. And there's tens and tens of thousands of people that had great jobs, and the next thing you know, they're out on the street. And, if you have a side hustle, have something that is another income stream, and said it, forget about watching Netflix 1 or 2 nights a week and spend your time on building an eBay business or, or
something on the side.
Something on the side.
The interesting thing about being an entrepreneur for a long period of time is it does get easier. You do develop different and new ways to make money. You develop credibility and a name for yourself. So
confidence too.
Confidence. So more and more people want to work with you. So it does become easier. It's not always, these crazy ups and downs. I think over time, the ups and downs get a little less intense.
And I think one of the things that happens, Dave, is we set like goals, even if it's subconscious or the way we think it should be. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, it's just like, I want a home run. I want a home run. Well, if you hit a home run, like Babe Ruth had more strikeouts than anybody in history, and he's the home run king, right? So he had a lot of failures going along with his wins. And after a while, it's kind of like, I'm tired of striking out all the time, even though I'm hitting lots of home runs, because that's the real up and down, right? I just want to get on first base, and then from there I'll get to second base, and from there I'll get to. So you start slowing down the game, and you start saying, how. And also, like, one of the things that happened to me was, how can I create steady income? Subscriptions, right? If I have a membership site and I charge you $35 a month, that's $35 a month I'm going to get every month until you quit, right? So now it's like, if I get 1,000 people, that's 35,000, or if I get 100 people, that's 303,500, and it's going to be and there's going to be people that quit, and there's going to be people that come. So it's going to be kind of like this, but it's not going to be this big swing. So there are answers to the question. Like in the beginning, I think us entrepreneurs are like, go for it, and we've got this huge dream and everything else, and then it may be very successful. Like, I know people that had, like, they were worth $500,000 like 40 years ago, when that meant something, and the next day they were bankrupt, right? Because their business shares made them worth $500,000, and then whatever they were in collapsed, and there was no one wanted to buy the shares, so it was worth zero.
Right.
So there's always this. It doesn't matter where you are. There's always some way you can get to zero.
Yeah.
It's
unless like you said, unless like you said, you have a recurring income stream, that's always important. And so I think the older I become as an entrepreneur, the longer I am an entrepreneur, I realize, there's leverage things you can do that either pay you higher or pay you more often or pay you recurring. And you're learning now to use more leverage and less, buying, or what's the word, less dollars per hour, that kind of thing, where you're
trading money for hours. Yeah.
There you go. Time. Yeah. Trading dollars for hours. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to be at the point where we just finish each other's sentences really
exactly.
I don't know what this quote is. Oh, I know what it is. All right. So you may have noticed the theme. We want to always talk about books because that's really, really important. I think it's super important if you want to change your circumstances that the habit that you create is reading. And it kind of reminds me of I had this course coming to me, like a chapter a month, and I couldn't get to it. And I had this stack of paper, right? And I just thought, so I asked myself, how could I read this when I don't have time? And the answer popped in my head. So I don't think it was me answering me. I think it was somebody else answering me with a wiser Scott, maybe. And it just said, read 15 minutes before you go to sleep. So I took them from my desk, put them on my nightstand. And then when I went into bed, I said, okay, it's 11 o'clock, 11:15, I'll turn out the light. And for 15 minutes, I read it. And I thought I had like 6 months of reading. And really in a month, like 30 days, 15 minutes a day, I was caught up.
Huh.
And so it's really a matter of like looking at what habits you have. And I think I'm not going to say we all, the vast majority of people have the habit of coming home, watching Netflix for 4 hours. And so if you just change one of those hours into reading a book, I think that's going to, and then pick a good book like this one right here, which is our book of the week. Think and Grow Rich. And it's going to really change your life. And there's so many books like that. We have a lot of them on free-ebooks.net. There's our plug. But if you read 15 minutes of this book a day, and you probably go through it a couple times, it's totally going to transform your life. And there's a lot of books like this out there.
Yeah, I'm due for reading this book again. I read it early on in life, and it's been a long time since I've read it. I've read a lot of books. I want to share a little story, Scott, if you don't mind, about
absolutely
the importance of reading. So when I first started out in my entrepreneurial journey, when I was in my 19, 20, whatever, I was starting to get involved in real estate investing. I lacked a lot of confidence. I was very shy. I was very introverted. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I still kind of don't want to talk to you, but that's another story. But but I was very shy and very introverted. And one of the things that I realized is, you know what, the way I can get confidence about this idea of investing in real estate was to absorb every bit of knowledge I could about it. So I attended real estate seminars like crazy. I used to live near Los Angeles, and I used to go down to LAX, where all the hotels are, LA Airport, and they used to have these real estate seminars every weekend, like tons of real estate seminars. So I literally lived over there and on the weekends, and I immersed myself in knowledge about real estate. And I read books, and I bought a lot of their courses and all this stuff. And by immersing myself in knowledge, I got very confident about doing my first deal. Now, it took me, because I was very shy, very introverted, it took me about 3 years to gather up that confidence. But then I bought my first property, then I bought a second property, then eventually I had 4 properties. And I learned then the power of learning. And during that time, I was also working on myself, self-improvement. So within a short period of time, probably 10 years, I had read 1,200 books on self-improvement, personal development, business, sales, marketing, basically all the entrepreneur titles that you can imagine. My wife used to look for me in the mall or at the bookstore. She knew where I'd be hanging out. I'd be in the business section of the bookstore, picking up another book. And then that gave me so much confidence and so much knowledge and so much expertise on just the idea of business, marketing, etc. Look, think about it this way. Whenever you're learning something new or getting involved in something, you're a total beginner. You're not even at the crawling stages yet, as a baby. So you've got to immerse yourself in as much as possible. Now that might sound like a lot of work, but if you're going toward an end goal that you're really excited about, you'll do it and you'll reap the benefits of it. So I'm a huge believer in reading, and as you can see, and I agree with what you're saying, Scott. I think it's a great idea, especially the hour before you go to bed, start reading. That way you're in that kind of zone, of thinking and on the way to sleeping I think
And
that's
being,
good
being
advice.
quiet. You're having a quiet time. I just think it's absolutely insane people that fall asleep with the TV on, to be quite honest. Like
Oh,
that is,
yeah,
like, what are you putting into your brain when you're sound asleep? I can't imagine.
yeah, I
But if you
can.
also, if you're reading before you go to bed, whatever you're reading, your subconscious is going to be working on integrating into you. Whereas
Right,
if you, like, let's say, for example, you woke up and then you read and then you started working and busy, it doesn't really have that time to absorb what it is that you're learning, I think,
right.
as well. I'm maybe teaching experts will tell me I'm totally wrong, but that's the way I think of it, right? Because I know
Yeah.
when I read, oftentimes I'll have a dream about whatever it was reading, right?
Oh, wow.
It's like,
I wish I
oh,
could do that.
uh, it's sometimes it's boring. I mean, I have woken up going, well, that was a really boring dream, counting, right?
That's great.
Awesome. So you can find us every Wednesday at 5 Eastern here, either wherever it is that you're watching us now, whether it's on YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook. We're in a couple Facebook groups, I know, as well, and then we're probably going to be on Rumble and a few other places as
Oh,
well.
nice.
And if you've got any questions, we don't have enough people for an after party. If you have any comments or anything, put them in the comment section. We'll talk about them next time, or just say thank you for your comments. But our goal is to build this show up, answer your questions, have an after party afterwards. We've got a theme and topics that we want to talk about. We want to share with you what we think is important for your entrepreneurial journey. But also we want to, talk about things that are important to you. And so leave those comments. Come live, because when you come live, we're going to be able to answer your questions live, and that'd
Yep.
be really, really fun. So before we go, and by the way, we're going to put the links to the course and everything in the description, and we just don't have them right now with us. Any last comments, Dave, before we sign off?
Sure. Yeah. I'd just like to encourage people. You've got 8 months to be able to promote this program, to give away as much of the government's free money as you can, and therefore make big, significant, chunky commissions doing it. So the course that we are talking about, that we'll have a link to in a little bit, it really goes into detail on how to do it, but it also gives you that affiliate link, gives you the ability to bring on affiliates, gives you an entire back office that gives you training. The course itself gives you training, and there's many, many ways to get these leads out there. In fact, in the course, we also teach a specific way to use AI to drive people coming to you, drive business owners coming to you for your link, right? So there's that, and there's just the opportunity to sign up. And I think it's an incredible opportunity. We have 8 months to go, and in 8 months, you could literally set yourself up. So, but I also just want to close out by saying thank you, Scott, for the opportunity. I'm very excited about this and the chance to just share with entrepreneurs. Maybe in a future episode, I'll talk about my mission has always been to serve entrepreneurs. And so I'd love to do that with you here. And
Awesome.
I really appreciate the opportunity.
We'll talk about that next week. We'll talk
Sounds
about
good.
mission. I mean, mission, if you don't have a mission and you're trying to be an entrepreneur, it's like being in a canoe that's got 20 holes in it.
Yeah.
Not going to go anywhere.
It's not going to go very well.
Not going to go very well. You're right. I mean, you might go somewhere if you're in a very shallow stream. But if you're in the middle of a lake, you're only going one way, and that's not the right way. So
Right.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday. This has been the Entrepreneur's Journey. I'm Scott. He's Dave, and we'll look forward to getting to know you in the coming months.